Alright, let's unlock one of chess's coolest secrets, en passant. This move is one of those hidden gems that even some experienced players overlook. But once you master it, you'll have a powerful tool in your chess arsenal. If you're new to chess, this move might sound mysterious, almost like a magic trick. It's not something you see in every game, but when it happens, it can completely change the course of a match. But trust me, once you know how it works, you'll feel like a real chess wizard. It's a move that can catch your opponent off guard and give you a real sense of satisfaction when you pull it off. Let's break it down step by step so you can see exactly how and when to use en passant. So, what is en passant? It's French for in passing, and it's a special pawn capture that surprises a lot of beginners. The name itself hints at the unique way this move works, capturing a pawn as it passes by. Here's the situation. Imagine your opponent moves their pawn 2 squares forward from its starting place, landing right next to your pawn. This only happens when a pawn makes its very first move, jumping 2 spaces instead of 1. Normally, you'd expect to wait until they move again before you can capture it, right? It seems like their pawn just dodged your attack by leaping ahead. But with en passant, you get to capture their pawn as if it had only moved 1 square forward. This means you can take their pawn right away, even though it's not on the square you'd usually capture from. Wild, right? It's almost like you're reaching through time to grab that pawn before it escapes. Here's how you do it. Let's walk through the steps so you can spot the opportunity in your own games. Let's say you've got a pawn on the 5th rank and your opponent just pushed their pawn up 2 spaces, ending up beside yours. This is the only time en passant is possible. Your pawn must be on the correct rank and the opponent's pawn must land right next to it in a single move. On your very next move, only then, you can capture their pawn by moving your pawn diagonally forward, just like a regular pawn capture. The difference is, instead of landing on the square where their pawn sits, you move to the square behind it, and their pawn is removed from the board. But instead of landing on the pawn square, you move your pawn diagonally forward, and the opponent's pawn disappears, just as if it had only gone 1 square. It's a unique capture that only pawns can perform, and only under these exact circumstances. Timing is everything with en passant. But remember, you have to act fast. If you don't make the capture immediately on your next move, you lose the chance forever. If you don't capture en passant right away, the chance is gone forever. There are no second chances with this move, so keep your eyes peeled for the opportunity. That's what makes it so sneaky and exciting. It's a move that can turn the tables and leave your opponent wondering what just happened. It only works the moment your opponent moves their pawn 2 squares forward, and only if your pawn is in position. If you miss it, the game moves on and the chance is lost. So always be alert, especially when pawns are advancing side by side. Why does this rule exist? It's all about fairness. The rule was created to prevent players from using the 2 square pawn move to dodge being captured. Without en passant, pawns could dodge being captured by sprinting past enemy pawns. This would make it much harder to control the center and keep the game balanced. En passant keeps the game balanced and prevents pawns from escaping unchallenged. It's a clever way to make sure both players have a fair shot at controlling the board. But just because you can use en passant doesn't mean you always should. Now, should you always use en passant? Not necessarily. Sometimes, it's better to hold back and think about the bigger picture. Sometimes, capturing en passant opens up your position or exposes your king. It might leave you vulnerable to attacks or weaken your pawn structure. So think about your overall strategy before you leap at the chance. Ask yourself, does this capture help my plan, or does it create new problems? The best players use en passant not just because they can, but because it fits their strategy. Sometimes, letting the pawn go is the smarter move. Practice spotting en passant opportunities in your games, and soon it'll become second nature. Go ahead, try it out in your next game. Next time someone tries to slip their pawn past you, remember en passant and surprise them with your newfound chess knowledge. You'll impress your friends and maybe even win a few extra games. That's one more trick up your sleeve to help you level up your game. The more you know about chess's special rules, the more confident and creative you'll become as a player. Thanks for watching, and happy checkmating. Keep practicing, keep learning, and soon you'll be the one teaching others about the secrets of chess.